Good morning and welcome to Gleaning and Gathering. We are back in the studio here with Rebecca Heimlich today.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. It's great to have you here today. We are back for a brand new season. I think this is a season.
Sure.
Of Gleaning and Gathering. And we are trying a new thing here. And we have gotten some of the best topics together, topics that I feel very passionately about.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done some exhaustive research.
Yes.
I think that's what you call it.
For sure.
And together we have put an amazing presentation on. And so, Becca, what is the topic that we are going to be discussing today?
The topic is, why do ministries and nonprofits struggle to obtain and retain donors?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing question.
It is.
And I'm glad you asked that question. And this is a space that I have lived in for the past 27 years. And so I've learned a few things along the way. And I haven't always done these things well. I'll admit that. I'll be the first to admit that. This is the time of year when most people are getting those appeal letters in the mail. They're at the end of the year. People are thinking about their end of year giving because of tax season. And so they're thinking, now, what am I going to give? And most nonprofits get more in the month of December than they get any other month of the year. And some of them get actually more than all the other months put together during December. It's that big. They're receiving a letter in the mail many times.
Mm-hmm.
They're receiving communication from these nonprofits. And they are getting some message.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, are they going to give? And as someone who has spent some time in this space thinking about this, I look at these letters in a different way now than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gotten one of those letters, Becca?
Personally, I don't know if I have. I know I've seen many of them.
Yeah.
You've written some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some come through GBS. So yeah, I've definitely interacted with several. And they're always interesting.
Yeah. Not always, but sometimes they are interesting.
Right. Well, that's fair. That is fair.
One of the things, though, that I think is important, and if you're taking notes out there, if you are a ministry leader and you're thinking, I really do need to send out a letter or I need to communicate, there's some things that I just wanted to share with you because we want to do good work.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that in their giving want to make an impact. And that's really the key. And so the first principle that you need to remember is keep it simple. My mentor, Zach Clark, used to say, if it's not simple, it doesn't get funded. If it's not simple, it doesn't get funded. And so we need to draw a very straight line from the gift that this person is making to the impact that gift is going to make. I think the clearest and best example of this that I have seen in the nonprofit space is World Vision's Christmas catalog. Have you seen World Vision's Christmas catalog?
I don't think so.
I love thumbing through that because it has a picture of a little boy in Nigeria holding a goat.
Yes.
And underneath it says $200
I think I have seen that.
buys a goat for this little boy.
Yes.
It has a little family in Honduras with a flock of chickens and says
that's fantastic.
$25 buys this. Now, it's simple. Anybody reading through it and looking at the pictures can see, child in Nigeria holding a goat. This is how this makes a difference. It's a very clear, simple connection between I give this and this happens.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
One, because it's so simple. And because it's simple, people give millions of dollars every year to World Vision. And it's not just World Vision. There's plenty of other examples of this. Samaritan's Purse is another one that does it really well. But they present a need that is simple. Mm-hmm. Now, it may be very complex to actually get that goat to Nigeria. And I don't understand the back working of all that. And there's plenty of, stuff that ends up coming out of that, I'm sure, in order to be able to make all that happen. They've got to have planes, they've got to have people.
But the ability to break down those costs and say, okay, this is the base cost of what we need to get this here, and then present that to the people. You don't have to explain all the details in between.
No, you do not.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
And it gets funded because it's simple.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first place to start, is keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I get some of these letters and it is exhausting. By the time I get through reading it and the 15 different ways that they need money and the 20 different ways that, this will help put a new tire on the back bus, and this, I'm just like, I'm exhausted. And I'm not really even sure what is going to get funded.
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
Yeah.
And that's the way many nonprofits operate.
Yeah.
We need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, and we need a side of this as well.
Yeah. And
as a donor, I don't live in that space.
Right.
I don't wake up and think about those things that they're thinking about. And I'm sure that for many of them, they think, I need to be transparent. I need to let people know. Well, frankly, I don't need to know all that. I need to know, what impact are you going to make when you're finished? What's going to get done? So that's number one. Keep it simple. The second thing, though, that I would tell people is that they need to tell a story. I love the book, The Hole in Our Gospel by Richard Stearns. Again, World Vision. He was the leader of that group for a number of years, but he recounts an experiment that they did. And there were 3 groups of people. The first group heard Anna's story. Anna lived in sub-Saharan Africa. She was malnourished. She was under cared for because her parents had died of AIDS, and it left her hungry. It left her vulnerable, and their school and orphanage is going to help to solve Anna's problem. You can sponsor Anna for X number of dollars. Okay. That's group A. Group B, they heard the statistics of Anna's story. There are 3 million children in sub-Saharan Africa. And again, all these numbers aren't the exact numbers that he quotes, but this is the concept. They're malnourished, they're uncared for, their parents have died of AIDS, they're hungry, they're vulnerable, and our orphanages help children like this every day. Okay? Group B hears this story and then receives a call to action. Would you give to this? The third group hears Anna's story and the statistics. So they heard the story, and then they heard the statistics, and then they were asked to give. Everything was equal in all 3 of these groups. Which group do you think gave more, Becca?
Definitely A or C, but I'm trying to figure out which.
Well, which one do you think it was?
I probably would have given to C more.
And why? Why would you have given to C more?
Because it would connect with the person more when you hear their specific story. And then the statistics will burden. I don't know. Maybe I would have given to A more because the simplicity of it.
Can I tell you the results?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the result of the experiment was this. Group A received more than groups B and C combined.
Oh, wow.
But why?
Yeah.
What's the reason?
It's a very personal story, and you feel connected.
But group C heard the personal story.
Yeah. Well, that's where my brain went when I was about to say it. The details could have bogged me down, and the statistics. Like when you hear about the millions that need help, then you're like, well, what am I actually going to do?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So what happened, and this is what they found, is that statistics actually created a disincentive for giving.
Yeah.
Because people thought, I can help Anna, but what am I going to do about 3 million children
millions,
in sub-Saharan Africa? My $25 isn't going to do anything for that.
Yeah.
And so they were disincentivized to give. Why? Because they felt like it was too overwhelming.
Makes sense.
And so the point that I want to make in this is that we need to tell a story, not just tell the statistics, but we need to tell a story. Donald Miller, by the way, great book, Building Your Story Brand. And if you're working in this area, you need to be reading this. But he talks about how every story has 4 characters. There's the villain, there's the victim, there's the hero, and then there's the guide. And you can go through really any story and find those. But everyone wants to position themselves, at least in the nonprofit world, as the hero, right? And in reality, they think they are the hero. I've read some of these letters and it says, last year we raised. Wait a minute. What did you raise? You didn't raise anything. You talked to people and they gave.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to be using donor-centric language. We need to be inviting people to be the hero and to come alongside them as the guide. Because the truth of it is, we don't do anything unless they give.
Right. Yeah.
Everything is donor-driven.
Yeah.
And unless people give, there's not going to be any of this that's going to actually happen.
Right.
And so telling this story means that we come alongside and use language that helps them see the clear connection between what they give and Anna.
Mm-hmm.
As you give, Anna is helped. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But here's how you can enter into this story. Here's how you can be the hero for Anna. And we can be the guide, walking alongside you, helping make that happen, helping to facilitate that.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to hear the story. So tell the story. One of the reasons why many nonprofits really struggle to get and retain donors is they don't tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell it well. And sometimes they don't even tell it at all.
Yeah.
You could read through an entire letter and never hear one story of impact.
Yeah.
They want to talk about their drill. They're not talking about the hole they're making. They're not talking about the kind of impact. And that's, as a giver, the thing I want to know about.
Yeah.
What is getting done
Yeah.
for Anna? I want to know that.
Yeah.
I don't really even care how big and bright and beautiful your bus is. The question is it getting anybody anywhere?
Right.
So, number 2, tell a story. Number 3, start by building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many nonprofits do this, but I know a lot do, unfortunately. You get a mailing list, you pop a letter into an envelope, you stick it in the mail, and voila. That's supposed to do the trick, No interaction.
Yeah.
No personal relationship. And this arrives in somebody's mailbox along with, probably 15 other things that day. And where does it go?
The trash.
File 13. That's right. It gets thrown away, sometimes without ever even looking at it.
Right.
Because it's like, what is this? Who is this? I don't know who this is. In a Harris Interactive Donor Pulse study, only 10% of respondents believe that charitable organizations are honest and ethical in their use of donations. That is frightening.
Mm-hmm.
But the sad truth of it is that when you go through the details of some of the organizations and you see how much is used for just, running the machine, it kind of makes you not want to give.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Mundy said, to relieve the concerns of donors, you must show them yourself and your heart for God's mission. We have to build relationships. So I've seen this again and again. People give to people. And building that relationship means that you have to take time with them individually, personally. And there's a lot of people that don't see that as important for whatever reason. And as a result, they struggle to get donors because donors are not just, nameless, faceless people that respond to the right copy on a page. They're people who care about other people and they care about helping people,
Mm-hmm. That can be overwhelming, though, the idea of personally meeting. So I know you write personal notes to a lot of the donors, or you go and visit them, or whatever.
Right.
But that can be super overwhelming depending on the size of your company, especially if you don't, even if you have a small company but you don't have a specific donor development person that can do that full time. So what would be your advice for?
Yeah. Well, here's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
In most organizations, 85% of everything that comes in comes from 15% of the donor base.
So you've got to just figure out who the top.
In fact, in some organizations now, it's as high as 90-10.
Wow.
So yeah, there's this idea that, I couldn't I couldn't visit everyone. I couldn't talk to everyone. So I should treat everyone equally, as in equally poorly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the truth of it is that if you could,
Yeah.
would you want to sit down with every widow who is giving on a fixed pension $25 to your organization? Would you want to sit down in her living room and shake her hand and say, thank you so much for your gift? Would you want to do that?
I think a lot of people would.
I would.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone equally well. So
you are a donor person. So I'm thinking as a not donor person, somebody that's more comfortable, like just sitting in my office, I would much rather
it's easier
send an email or send a letter.
Right.
It is so much easier.
Right.
So yes, and that's the thing. You have to come back to the impact that it's making, because you probably made their day, their week, their month just by visiting them. So that's a plus. And then you've probably got a giver for life. So well,
here's the thing. Building relationships requires being authentic. And it requires that you actually care about the other person, not just their gift, but about them. And so building a real relationship means that you take the time, you invest the time in knowing them. And so building that relationship, yes, takes time, absolutely takes time. And so because you may not be, depending on the size of your organization, able to sit down with everyone, you've got to figure out, okay, who can I spend this time with? But there absolutely should be some people that you are spending an inordinate amount of time with, building and stewarding the relationship. And it's not being unfair to spend that time. It's being good stewardship. That is good stewardship.
Yeah.
To bring them along on the journey. So the work of donor development really is the discipline. Again, this comes from Zach Clark, my mentor, but the discipline of building real relationships with people and then helping them to see what God is doing in the organization where you are, and then challenging them to do what only they can do to help move that vision forward. That's the work. It really is all about building relationships. And so when we really do care about people, not just as numbers on a page,
right,
then we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And you may say, well, I can't do that. I'm just got a small organization. Well, who can you do that with?
Yeah.
And who are you doing that with? You know, I see lots of leaders, if you ask a room full of leaders, how many of you feel called to lead your organization? All the hands go up. Yes. Now, how many of you feel called to steward the relationships with the people who will give the resources that will make the work that you're going to do possible? Well, there's not so many hands. Because, that's fundraising. That's a dirty word. We don't want to get our hands dirty with fundraising. When the reality is it's just building relationships.
Yeah.
And if you are called to steward this organization, then you absolutely are called to steward the relationships with the people that are going to give to make that
possible.
Work. Exactly. Yeah. So it's part of the deal. So the next thing is follow through. Now, this may seem incredibly obvious. Just do what you said you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
If you said you were going to, pass out this many widgets for Christmas to this many children, do it and then tell us about it. But you would be amazed at the number of organizations that'll put out an appeal, say, hey, would you help us do this? And then silence. No reporting, no communicating of, hey, by the way, we said we were going to do this. We did it. This is what happened. This is the end of the story. And so it's kind of like buying something on Amazon. You put your check out there, checks are old fashioned, I guess. You pay with Cash App, and you see the product, but it never arrives in the mail.
Yeah.
Again, what is the person buying with this donation? They think they're buying impact. They hope they're buying impact. They hope they're making a difference in this sad world. And they want to see a difference made. And so they've paid for a difference. They have put their money out there for a difference.
And they don't see anything.
And the difference never shows up.
Yeah.
It's sad. So there's no follow through. And that's the real question is, do we do what we say we're going to do?
Yeah. And sometimes it might actually be happening, but if there's no reporting, then they never see it. So then they're less likely, like even if they're following through and doing the things and actually making an impact, if the donors don't see it, they're probably less likely to give next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's precisely the point. And hopefully we are doing what we say we're doing.
Right.
But if we're not able to accomplish the goal, like, did we report on that? Did
Yeah.
we communicate, hey, we really tried and this is what happened and this was the failure? Are we communicating that story?
Yeah.
Are we following through though? That's the question. So again, follow through, super important, and then communicating what has been done. So if you look at it like a clock, at 12 o'clock, we need to thank people for their giving. That's the first thing. Thank. And then after they've been thanked, then later on we report on the impact that their giving is making. That's at 3 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, that sets us up perfectly to be able to ask them again, hey, by the way, this is a new opportunity for you to be able to give. And then we follow up with them. By the way, we asked you, but we'd like to follow up on that. This is what we're hoping to do. Would you come along with us on this journey? And then as they give, we thank them again. That's 12 o'clock. So again, that is the cycle that we should be going through.
That's interesting.
And as we're following through, it gives us something to communicate, something to report on.
Yeah.
And that helps people. And then the last thing, and it's part of that circle that I just told you about, is show gratitude. Becca, let me ask you, have you ever given to an organization?
I have.
So you've given some of your own money to an organization. What made you decide to give?
Pause. Do you want me to tell the GBS
Of course.
story? Okay.
Tell the story.
Okay.
What was it that made you decide to give?
Well, a couple years ago, I've given since then, but this was the most memorable. At GBS, we were having this fundraiser. There was a well being built somewhere. I can't even remember where. Honduras with EFM.
Daniel Melton.
Yeah.
Evangelistic Faith Missions. By the way, great guy.
Really great.
Doing some amazing work there.
And that, it really was. They put a whole video together. President Looper went over there when they put it in. It was a great thing. But the motivation for us students was a little bit more selfish. We were raising money through the month of October. If the girls raised more, I forget how it even worked. But I think if the girls raised more, then we got to wear like level C through the whole month of November. And if the guys raised more, then they got to do No Shave November.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guys obviously won, but that was the motivation.
Now you say the guys obviously won.
Well, this was a whole discussion.
Yeah.
We were joking that, the guys make more money, and so it's not actually fair, and which is not true. We do make money, but we were trying to use all the excuses that we could. We just spend all our money on coffee or something.
Okay. All right.
Anyways.
So that was your reason for giving.
Right. That was the primary, motivation. We've got to get this.
But it was a talk. Daniel Melton came.
Yes.
He shared. So there was a challenge given. There was a call to action.
And there was a clear mission. Like there were pictures, there were stories told of people, and actually follow through on those stories.
Yeah.
So they told us about this lady in her house. She didn't have any water in her house or any way to get it. So then she had to walk long ways to get it.
Which is a common problem in many third world countries.
Yeah, it was, they showed us pictures. It was tragic. And then when they came back, President Loper had stood in her house as she turned on the water, and she just was crying and so thankful. It was a really, really cool follow through moment. Like we got to hear about all of the whole journey. Anyway.
And so as a donor, you saw the impact.
Right, for sure.
That your gift made as a result of that follow through and that reporting that happened afterward. Yeah. So the question is, at least in the immediate aftermath of your giving, did you feel appreciated when you gave?
So define appreciated. So I got this automated email
Yeah.
that said, "Hey, Rebecca, thank you for your giving, for your gift of $25, whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
They
acknowledged it. Yes.
Yeah.
Which was something, because there have been other things that I've given to that there's been no acknowledgement, and that's fine. I know I'm giving to something good, but, I think I would have definitely been one of those donors that it's not worth the time to go and sit in my dorm room and say thank you.
Yeah.
Partially because I'm just a student, and partially because I gave $25. So I think for the level that I gave, I was appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think which I do know that GBS goes above and beyond to thank many of their donors.
Sure.
But yeah, I think if an organization is just sending an automated email to every single one of their donors, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. And I shared a little bit of this in a class a few years ago at God's Bible School in college, actually. And I asked these questions at the end of my talk and asked, would how you were treated by the organization make you want to give again? Did you feel appreciated? Most of the students, in fact, I think all the students said no.
Yeah.
And said no, the way that I was treated really wouldn't make me want to give again, which is the predominant feeling, unfortunately, that most donors have.
Yeah.
And so the goal of every nonprofit and ministry should be to retain the donors we have. So everybody who gave last year, have they given again this year? That should be goal number one.
Yeah.
But a lot of organizations don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we get all these new donors?
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole lot easier to keep the donors you have than to try to gain a whole bunch of new donors.
Yeah. You don't have to convince them all over again.
No.
Yeah.
They've already given.
Right.
So what do you need to do that? You need to thank them. You need to report on the impact that their giving is making, and then follow up with that by asking again and saying, hey, here's another opportunity. Here's another chance that you have to be able to make a difference.
Right.
But it's amazing to me how few organizations actually do that. And so to retain the donors we have to really show appreciation. We have to show thanks.
Yeah.
Which should just be the lowest level.
Right. We're
just trying to communicate to them, look, this is the difference that you're making.
Yeah.
And that's a result. This that happened is a result of what you gave.
Yeah.
Drawing that clear connection. So none of this is rocket science. All this is very doable by any organization out there.
Right.
You don't have to hire a donor development person to do this. You don't have to be able to write magic words that will make people want to give.
Right.
There's a very clear path forward, but I am amazed, really, honestly, and not in a good way, at how few organizations actually do this. Just keep it simple, tell a story, build relationships, follow through, and show gratitude. That's it.
Yeah, that's good.
So to wrap this up, to put a nice little bow on it all, if people are interested in giving to an organization right now, what's one that's on your radar that you would say, you know what, this is an organization that's making an impact, and I think you should go check it out? Anybody?
I mean, I work for them, so I see the inside, but I think GBS is a great organization. We're doing some good things. We have a building project on the horizon, just launched at homecoming. So yeah, I think that if you want to give to something a little bit bigger, that's not definitely, we're not huge, but the other one that's on my radar that I think is also doing really great things is Main Street Chapel. Yeah. It's downtown Cincinnati, pastored by Matt Hallam. They're doing a really, really great work there. Have a lot of inner city young people. Yeah, they have a great team from GBS. Yeah. A lot of people just pouring into the kids. They have, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Tuesday night Teen Power. Yeah, so I think I think it would be smart to connect with something local that you can see the impact of. If you don't know, there are so many out there. There are two to start. EFM is another good one.
Yeah.
You would probably know way more than I would. But I think definitely find something local that you can give to, and that you can see the impact in. And if you can't give money, then give your time. Go volunteer somewhere and, just love people. Do what you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I agree. There's a lot of great organizations out there that are doing some super important work. And I'm thankful to be able to, in some small way, over the past few years, be able to participate in that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to share this today because I know that there are a lot of other ministries out there that are doing super good work.
Yeah.
But have struggled. They've struggled, and many of them, I'm afraid, have come to wrong conclusions about why they're struggling.
Yeah.
And they think the fix is just, we need to put better words on the paper.
Or more words on the paper.
Or more words on the paper.
Yeah.
And if that's you, stop it.
Good.
Your more words on the paper are not going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
But there are answers to the problems that you're facing. So just wanted to share that today. And if I can be helpful in any way to you as a leader, I want you to know that's part of what I feel like that God has given me as an opportunity to be able to walk alongside leaders and to help them learn some of the things that God has been teaching me along the way. And freely I've received and freely I give. And so if there's something that I can do to help you and encourage you on your journey, be happy to do that. Again, thank you again to Becca for joining me here in the studio, and look forward to doing this a little more often. So
yeah, for sure.
We're not exactly sure what all that Gleaning and Gathering is going to look like, but our hope is that we can bring quality content to you on topics that matter, and to be able to record regular episodes, produce those in a semi-professional way, and make those available to you on an ongoing basis. So if you got questions, comments, feedback for us, we'd love to hear those as always. And thank you again for taking time for Gleaning and Gathering. God bless.